at the folding of the embryo now. There are two types of foldings. One is called as the lateral folding and one is called as the cephalocaudal folding, where the head will come towards the tail of the embryo like that. To discuss all that, let us first look at a diagram of the transverse section of embryo first. You will notice that this is a transverse section of the embryo showing the three germ layers after gastrulation. And what you find is this is the ectoderm, which is lying at the floor of the amniotic cavity, whereas this is the endoderm, and the endoderm is lying at the roof of the yolk sac cavity. This endoderm, which is lying at the roof of yolk sac cavity, is also covering the yolk sac cavity entirely there. And between the two germ layers, that is ectoderm and the endoderm, is the mesoderm. There is an axial mesoderm which is in the center, and that is called as the notochord here. So we will be talking about these details once more, but at this moment, as I am telling, there will be a lateral folding, and for that let us look at the next diagram. In this diagram you can notice the dorsal is the amniotic cavity, and this amniotic cavity is going laterally. This is lateral folding of the embryo. Also you can notice that at the floor of the amniotic cavity we are having the ectoderm, and that ectoderm is making a neural ectoderm, and that neural ectoderm will later form neural tube to form central nervous system. Whereas on the ventral side the yolk sac cavity is there, and when you are talking about the yolk sac cavity, you see this yolk sac cavity which is lying by the endoderm is taken into the conceptus as the lateral folding is occurring. There is one more layer in the middle, that is the mesoderm, and we will later see that what is mesoderm going to form, which tube it is going to form, because the ectoderm is going to form neural tube, the nervous system. The endoderm is going to form the gut tube, whereas the mesoderm is going to form cardiovascular tube that will see in due course of time. But at this moment, I also want to see cephalocaudal folding. So here you can notice that this is cephalocaudal folding, where the head of the baby is coming towards the tail of the baby. In that process, again, this is the dorsal lying amniotic cavity coming more anterior and coming more posterior, so that it is going to enclose the entire baby. And this yolk sac, which is going to form gut tube, is being absorbed or taken into the body of the conceptus. Also, you will notice that there is a cardiovascular tube developing, and that cardiovascular tube which you see here would have come from the mesoderm. The neural tube is developing on the dorsal side, that will be from the ectoderm. The mesoderm is forming cardiovascular tube, whereas the endoderm lining the yolk sac is going to form gut tube. It will have three parts. So what are the three parts of the gut tube? You can notice there will be a foregut here, and there will be a midgut here, and there will be one more which is called as the hindgut. So that will be the hindgut area. Now remember, maybe it is foregut, midgut or hindgut, all come from the endoderm of the yolk sac here. The next thing is to look at more details of the body tubes. So here you can notice in the beginning there is the dorsal ectoderm, in the middle is mesoderm, and then you have the ventral endoderm. Notice this ectoderm which you find here is going to form the neural tube, whereas you will notice that this is the yolk sac lined by endoderm going to form the gut tube. You see here, this is the mesoderm which is going to form cardiovascular tube. So let us just follow them further. Let us start with the ectoderm. The ectoderm is going to form a neural plate, and that neural plate is going to form a neural groove. That neural groove is shown here, and this neural groove will later form a neural tube, and that neural tube is going to form central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. As you proceed further to talk about the mesoderm, you see this is the mesoderm, and the mesoderm is further divided to certain components, but later, as you can find out yourself, this mesoderm is going to contribute to the cardiovascular tube. So here you can notice this is the cardiovascular tube. It will have cardiac muscle and smooth muscle. So where are they coming from? The mesoderm. And which mesoderm? That we'll have to find out. What about the gut tube here, which you see? That is from endoderm. Endoderm of what? If you're talking about the gut tube here, this gut tube would have come from the endoderm of the yolk sac here. So this is the yolk sac lined by endoderm, and that is going to be included into the conceptus, and as it is being included inside the conceptus, it is going to form what is called as the gut tube. So remember, the neural tube is coming from the ectoderm, the gut tube is coming from the endoderm, and the cardiovascular tube is coming from the mesoderm.